Have you ever imagined that a person who was once at the peak of the boxing world could fall into the depths of failure and despair? A person whose every punch could change history, but who eventually had to find a way to save himself from the darkness he created. This is the story of Mike Tyson. When he was young, Mike Tyson was not just a boxing champion. He was an icon, a legendary figure that the entire world admired. Standing before powerful opponents, Tyson was not just a fighter, but a storm that no one could stop. His punches were like hammers striking his opponents, moments that people would remember forever. But what really happened after those peaks? When this legend was crushed by mistakes, poor decisions, and the temptations of life, could he ever find himself again? To understand the real person behind Mike Tyson, we must go through each phase of his life, from when he was a young boy full of potential to when he became one of the biggest names in sports history, and then later, his unexpected downfall. We will explore his transformation from body to soul, from glorious victories to bitter defeats, from the peak of glory to the days he had to face himself in the darkness. Tyson was not just a boxer, he was a model of inner struggle, of self-renewal. But what can we learn from him? How can we overcome pain? How can we rise from failures that seem impossible to overcome? And can those very mistakes be the factors that helped Tyson become the person he is today? Tyson's story is one filled with drama, pain, but also hope. Every punch he threw was not just to defeat an opponent, but to defeat himself, to prove that no matter how harsh life may be, we can still stand up and keep fighting. And this story will guide us into the lessons he learned through every stage of his life. Mike Tyson, at every age and every turning point, was a different image. From a poor boy in Brooklyn to becoming a boxing icon, and finally to a grown man, seeking peace within his soul. In each of these phases, Tyson had to face the decisions he made, the pains he could not avoid. But the most important thing is that he learned to stand up again. Now let's take a journey through Tyson's life. Let's begin when he was just a boy with big dreams. That boy, with his bright brown skin and messy curly hair, had to face tremendous difficulties from a very young age. But that is what helped him rise up and become a strong man. In his eyes, the world was a battleground, and he was the only one who could win. Imagine Mike Tyson at 19, with his healthy brown skin, short curly hair, and muscular body ready to fight. He wore a simple white boxing outfit, looking as if nothing could stop him. He wasn't just fighting for fame or money. He was fighting for a deeper reason, one that he couldn't even explain. He fought to prove that he was the strongest person in the world, and indeed, no one could stop him. But like everything in life, nothing lasts forever. When Tyson's career was at its peak, the temptations of life outside the ring pushed him down wrong paths. Poor financial decisions and personal life choices led Tyson to an inevitable collapse. It was a struggle not just against outside opponents, but against himself. During those dark years, Tyson had to face not only failures in his career, but also failures in his soul. He fell and paid a high price. But it was in those moments of seeming hopelessness that Tyson found a new path to rise again. He learned that to win, it wasn't just about physical strength. It was also about resilience, never giving up. And that is the story we will explore in this video. Get ready to embark on a journey full of drama and emotions. Can you find yourself in Mike Tyson's story? Can you learn valuable lessons about life, resilience, and how to overcome difficulties, even when everything seems to have collapsed? Let's continue following this story and discover the lessons Mike Tyson learned from his own mistakes. The story isn't over, and the lessons Tyson has learned can still be applied to your life. As he passed through the glorious years when Mike Tyson's punches became legendary, the shadows began to fall over his life. From the pinnacle of his career to the abyss of despair, no one could have predicted that Tyson would end up in such a situation. Moments of success never last forever. For someone like Tyson, who was seen by everyone as an unstoppable fighting machine, there was a hidden side that no one saw. Behind that strength was a man still struggling with his emotions, with his personal life, with pains that words couldn't express. Tyson once said that, at that time, he didn't understand why he had fallen into this spiral. He felt like he had lost everything, and didn't know what to do to find the light again. But it was during those darkest moments that he found a strength that not everyone could discover, the strength of perseverance and accepting failure as part of life. During those hard years, Mike Tyson faced struggles not just with external opponents, but with himself. Past mistakes, poor financial decisions, and personal relationship problems led him to bankruptcy, losing everything he once had. But when life seemed to be crushing him, Tyson found something crucial: the importance of accepting and learning from failures. Not everyone can do this, but Tyson did. He began to change the way he viewed life, mistakes, and himself. Tyson learned a huge lesson. Life is not just about victories, but about how to rise after falling. He couldn't change the past, but he could decide how he lived in the present and future. And it was in those dark moments that Tyson began his journey of rebirth. Then, from a man at the top, Tyson became a symbol of recovery. The first steps on his path to rebirth weren't easy at all. He had to face enormous challenges, endure loneliness, and the doubt of those around him. But each of those steps was an important milestone in his journey to rebuild his life. Mike Tyson's journey is not just a story about boxing. It's a story about resilience, about learning from failure and accepting oneself. It's a story about how we can change, no matter how painful or bleak the past might be. So what lessons can we draw from Mike Tyson's life? How do we overcome the toughest moments? How do we rise when life seems to have pushed us to the edge? These questions are not easy to answer, but one thing is certain. If Tyson could find himself again after all of this, so can you. By accepting failure, learning from mistakes, and never giving up. That's the spirit of a warrior, never giving up. No matter how many challenges life throws at us, Tyson's journey is not over. We will continue with him through the next turning points in his life. And you, what will you learn from the lessons Tyson has gone through? It is not always easy to realize that failures and setbacks are an inseparable part of the journey to success. Mike Tyson, once an undefeated warrior in the boxing ring, had to face mental and physical collapses that few could imagine. But it was during those moments when everything seemed to be over that Tyson found a special strength, the strength of self-awareness and perseverance. The years after leaving the boxing arena, Tyson was no longer the great fighting machine that everyone once admired. He faced a series of difficulties, from financial crises to ongoing internal struggles. At times, he felt like he had lost everything. But in those darkest moments, Tyson never stopped searching for a way back. He began to fully accept himself with all the mistakes, flaws, and emotional wounds he had carried for so many years. This was not easy. While many had abandoned him and the criticism from society and the media continued, Tyson remained determined to change. By learning from his mistakes, he began to rebuild his life from scratch. And that is rebirth, a process that requires not only physical strength, but also extraordinary mental power. Tyson showed us that each failure is an opportunity to begin anew, to recreate oneself, and above all, a chance to rebuild one's life. But things were not always easy. Mike Tyson not only battled external hardships, but also the ghost in his own mind. The feelings of loneliness, the lack of trustworthy friends, the betrayal from those around him. All of these caused him to collapse many times. Yet Tyson stood tall. He understood that no failure is forever, and no one is beyond rising after a fall. Through the years, he found peace within, not from victory, but from accepting himself and the inner strength he had cultivated. Tyson gradually became a model for mastering oneself and facing challenges. This journey was not always simple, but Tyson's perseverance and courage are a living testament for those fighting with themselves. Life may not always go as planned, and success is not always easily attainable. But Mike Tyson gave us a valuable lesson. Never give up, and that rebirth can come from the darkest places. That is the message Tyson wants to convey. No matter where you are in life, and no matter what you have been through, you can still change and rise again. So what about you? Are you ready to face challenges and change your own life? Remember that every failure is an opportunity to start over, and each new day is a chance to become the best version of yourself. The lessons from Mike Tyson's life apply not just to sports, but to any of us. We may not be able to control everything in life, but we can control how we react to the challenges we face. Tyson has proven that no one is beyond standing up after a fall, and no one is incapable of changing their life. So what will you do next? Are you ready to begin your own journey of rebirth? The latest passage you've written emphasizes the deeper internal struggle that Mike Tyson faced, showing that his journey wasn't just about physical battles in the boxing ring, but also about overcoming personal demons, accepting his flaws, and embracing the philosophy of Stoicism. This part focuses on how Tyson navigated not only the external challenges of fame, fortune, and failure, but also the emotional and psychological obstacles that plagued him. Mike Tyson's story reflects the key tenets of Stoic philosophy: the acceptance of hardship, the importance of mastering one's emotions, and the ability to learn from setbacks rather than being defeated by them. The text highlights how Tyson's internal journey of self-acceptance and his search for peace within himself allowed him to overcome not just external obstacles, but also the darker aspects of his own mind. By recognizing his flaws and accepting his past mistakes, Tyson found a path to healing and reinvention. Tyson's story is particularly inspiring for anyone facing adversity, as it demonstrates that even the most powerful figures can experience profound internal struggles, and that true strength often comes from embracing vulnerability and learning from one's failures. His life embodies the Stoic idea that while we cannot control external events, we can control our responses to them. This passage serves as a reminder that every setback, every failure, can be a stepping stone toward personal growth, and that we can all find strength within ourselves to overcome even the toughest times. Just like Tyson, anyone can reinvent themselves, regardless of their past. In fact, Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca had long championed the idea that control over one's emotions, thoughts, and actions is the ultimate source of peace. Tyson began to internalize these teachings, realizing that he could not control the world around him, but he could control how he reacted to it. When Tyson faced his own demons, addiction, self-doubt, and failure, he didn't shy away. Instead, he leaned into the discomfort, reflecting on his past decisions and learning to accept his mistakes. The Stoic principle of amor fati, or love of fate, became an essential part of his healing process. He realized that all of his experiences, good and bad, were necessary steps in his journey toward becoming a better version of himself. The process of healing wasn't linear, nor was it easy. Tyson had his moments of relapse, his moments of weakness. But each time, he returned to his core Stoic belief that he could choose his attitude, his response, and his actions. Every failure was an opportunity to rise again. Every setback was a lesson, not a punishment. The true power of Tyson's transformation lies in his ability to rise from the ashes of his mistakes and reinvent himself. He understood deeply and fundamentally that his worth wasn't defined by the accolades or the mistakes of his past. It was defined by his present actions and how he approached the future. Tyson, in a sense, became his own Stoic hero, learning not just to survive, but to thrive in the face of life's inevitable challenges. But his story doesn't end there. Tyson's redemption wasn't just for him, it was for others too. By sharing his story, his struggles, and his insights, Tyson became a beacon of hope for those who had fallen, those who felt hopeless, or those who believed that their past defined their future. His message is simple yet profound. No matter where you are in life, no matter how low you've fallen, you always have the power to rise again. This, perhaps, is the most significant lesson Tyson teaches us. The path to self-mastery is always open. The choice is ours to make at every moment of our lives. So I ask you, when faced with adversity, when life knocks you down, how will you respond? Will you let the pain consume you, or will you rise as Tyson did and claim your own power? Remember, just like Mike Tyson, you too have the power to reshape your life, no matter how difficult it may seem. It all starts with the decision to change. As you reflect on Tyson's incredible story of transformation, think about your own life. What challenges are you facing? What lessons can you learn from your struggles? How can you apply the principles of Stoicism to your own journey of self-improvement? Mike Tyson's journey has been a challenging one, from being the king of the ring to going through dark moments. To overcome the pain, failures, and unavoidable trials of life, Tyson had to learn how to accept himself, face harsh truths, and learn valuable lessons from Stoic philosophy. It was a fight not only with external opponents, but also a battle with himself. Only when faced with the darkest moments of his life did Tyson realize that he couldn't control everything. But what he could control was his attitude and how he reacted to the challenges. Throughout his life, figures like Tyson have made countless mistakes, but what matters is their ability to recognize and improve themselves every day. They don't let failures define them, but rather their ability to rise from the ashes and start over. One of the core principles of Stoicism that Tyson learned was to accept what cannot be changed. Don't waste time on things beyond your control, but instead focus on the things that you can adjust and improve. Tyson, a legendary boxer, learned not only how to fight in the ring, but also how to fight in life. Fighting against his own flaws, battling with past mistakes, and combating the temptations of life. This does not mean that Tyson never fell. No one is perfect. But the important thing is that you always have the choice of how you will stand up. Stoicism doesn't teach you to avoid challenges, but rather how to face them with calmness and self-control. Every time Tyson fell, he learned how to rise again and continue moving forward because he understood that resilience comes from within. From a man who once went through the darkest days of his life, Mike Tyson has now become a model of change. He is no longer just a boxer focused on power or domination in the ring. He has learned the greatest lesson of his life, finding inner peace, facing the darkest nights, and understanding himself. When you look at Tyson, you don't just see a boxing legend. You also see a man full of flaws who managed to rise strong from his breakdowns. You see the rebirth and self-transformation. That is why Mike Tyson's story isn't just about sports. It's about survival in life, about how a person can rise from the dirt to become a better version of themselves. In the end, we should ask ourselves, are you ready to face your mistakes? Are you brave enough to look at your failures and accept them as part of your journey? And more importantly, what can we learn from people like Mike Tyson, those who were at the bottom of their careers, but found the light when they began searching for peace within themselves? The greatest lesson from Tyson isn't how to defeat an opponent in the ring, but how he learned to defeat himself. And that is a precious lesson that all of us can learn in life. If you feel inspired by Mike Tyson's story, share your own story with us in the comments below the video. What have you learned from the journey of overcoming challenges and failures? Don't forget to like, share, and follow Life Tales to explore more valuable lessons from great stories. Leave your questions and thoughts, and we will continue to bring you inspiring stories in the journey of self-development.